Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington, D.C., I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
The Chicago Riverwalk looks like a simple path at first, but it actually works as a system that completely changes how people interact with the river. Instead of treating the river as something you look down at from above, this design brings you to the same level as the water, turning the edge into an active part of the city. For most of Chicago's history, this space did the opposite. The river was an industrial corridor, and buildings were designed to face away from it because it was used for freight, waste, and transport. What you're seeing now is the result of reversing that logic and rebuilding the river edge as something people move through instead of avoid. The key to how this works is that the Riverwalk is not one continuous design. It is broken into distinct sections, and each section solves a different problem. That is why it feels varied as you move through it, instead of repeating the same layout over and over. In one section you have direct boat access where vessels dock along the edge, and that immediately changes the scale of the space because you're standing next to moving traffic on the water. This is not decorative, it is functional, and it keeps the river active rather than turning it into a static feature. A few steps further, the design shifts to something completely different, with kayak access built from the river's edge. That only works because water quality is improved enough to allow direct interaction, and that tells you much about how the river has changed over time. Then you moved into stepped seating areas that face the river, and this is where the design starts controlling behavior. Instead of just moving through, people stop, sit, and watch the flow of boats and water, which turns the river into something you experience rather than pass by. Other sections are built for flexibility, with open areas that can handle crowds, events, or just general movement without forcing a specific use. That is important because the Riverwalk has to handle very different conditions throughout the day. There are also sections that focus on the ecology, where planting and floating elements are introduced to support the river environment. These are not just visual features, they are part of improving water conditions and adding habitat back into the system. What makes all of this work is how it sits below street level. Traffic moves across bridges above, while pedestrians move along the river without interruption. This separation creates a layered system where different types of movement happen at the same time. At the same time, the river itself is constantly active, with architecture tour boats running through the corridor. These tours are a major part of how the people experience Chicago, and the Riverwalk is designed to support that flow without interfering with it. The result is a space that combines movement, recreation, and infrastructure into one continuous system. Every section has a purpose, and those purposes are connected rather than being isolated. That is why the Riverwalk feels dynamic instead of static, because it's not just a path, it is a system that manages how people, water, and activity all operate together in the same space.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.